then work on it, if need be, make some adjustments, additions, and subtractions, and then take it back to the executive for the president's assent. To append the signature, it becomes a working, physical document for the next year's fiscal year. To, in relation to the issues you raised that is trending, it has become a tradition at the National Assembly for legislators to pad. Padding simply means illegal additions of monies.
But did I hear you say a tradition? It has
become like a tradition because every year, the executive will present a budget. They will not look at the budget and return it back the way it was presented to them. They must add something to it. There was this case I remember vividly, Abdulmumin Jibril from Kiru Bebeji constituency in Kano State, who added over 3 billion naira for his own constituency. I know the suspicion there is that when the budget is passed, they have a way of collecting those monies or taking those monies through constituency projects. And they bring their cronies as contractors. The people are paid, the jobs will not be executed, but the money has disappeared into private pockets. That's why there is serious concern by people who care about this budget padding, by the National Assembly every year.
But this is the height of corruption.
Yeah, it is the height of corruption. And it has become a recurring decimal in this country. Every year, the president, the executive will present a budget, they will pad the budget.
But that is the culture where we find ourselves.
Yeah,
and I think we've been talking about corruption. And sometimes when you hear a lot of countries that they are also having corruption issues to deal with, but they always have a reference point, which is Nigeria. We look at from when the former president, the Senate president, talking about David Mark.
David Mark, yes.
David Mark, when he was the Senate president, then Ike Ekweremadu was also, for the 12 years in power, it was like every year it was padded.
The budget was padded.
The budget for the 12 years. Then you ask yourself, if you wouldn't stop it now, how do you go about stopping it? Because the man who was a senator back then, he's in power now. You can't stop him from padding.
You can't stop him.
Because this is, all they say is, this is my turn now to pad. What is the essence, what is the importance of padding? Why are you padding the budget? What are your plans like? Now, there's no clarity with some of the budget figures we also have. There's no accountability. There's no transparency. All we see is just what they want us to see. And at the end of the day, what happened to the budget within the year? Nobody cares to know. We are already focusing on the next budget. Next year budget. We had the 2023 budget presented. Where are we going to get the money? Somebody's talking about borrowing money to finance the budget.
Okay. The Ukraine war, Russia-Ukraine war. There's this story that is trending that weapons are finding their ways.
President Buhari said that the Russian-Ukraine war, weapons being smuggled to Lake Chad.
And that Lake Chad is the gateway to Nigeria. Do you know that Boko Haram has taken over the Lake Chad basin? And we have a joint task force. And the president has a rider to that story. One of the newspapers said, so far in the last 6 years, how many $1 billion have been spent?
It says call for tighter border security. Then it says tasks regional force to end terrorism.
And the third rider.
Military expresses commitment to operations. Nigeria spends over $209 million.
Joint military task force.
Yes, joint military.
Okay.
In 6 years.
That money was expended to fund the regional joint forces because Nigeria, Cameroon, and Chad have contributed armed forces.
Only Nigeria has spent over $209 million.
US dollars. That's mind-boggling.
There's something I want to say there. You look at Cameroon, Chad, and Nigeria. Nigeria seems to be vulnerable to much more than Cameroon.
Yes.
Now, if you're going to Cameroon, you're going into Cameroon, probably maybe you take like from Cross River State. There are so many routes anyway into, you're going from Cross River State into Cameroon. The security you have in Cameroon, nothing on earth breaks that security. So where everyone is being scanned, you are scanned, you need to present your identity to know where you're coming from, who you are, what is your mission, why are you coming into the Cameroon as is, what do you really want to achieve?
What's your business?
What's your business?
Yeah.
What is your pedigree? They want to know your personality. And of course, they can't do it without any official identification, you know, that you present to them. And sometimes, even if you present that, is subject to review. If they said no, you can't go in. I'm talking about Cameroon. So, but in Nigeria, the case is not this. I was there. I saw what happens. I saw how the process to which you can actually take into the country. And if by mistake you get into the country, there are some places in the country you can't step in.
I'm from Adamawa State. We trek to Cameroon.
All right.
Okay.
We trek to Cameroon.
Very
we trek
close
to yes. There's a town called Bugula.
All right.
And Marwa. Our people from Yola, they trek.
Most of them, right?
Yes, they even come to our markets and leave. They come by speedboats.
Right.
You know, this river Benue passes through our state, you know, down to Lokoja to the Atlantic.
Right.
But the question is, why are borders so porous? And it seems, why does it seem as if the governments are not doing anything? They have no intention of doing anything about it.
They can compromise anything for pecuniary reasons.
I can't get it.
Lisbeth, as we are sitting down here discussing this morning, get to Lagos semi-border. If you get to semi-border, you can stay there from morning till night. It will be difficult for you to cross that border, semi-border, into them. But come back to the north. You can walk in and it's free entry, free exit. So that is what we are talking about.
No, honestly, it's very heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
And yeah, that is what has made the country, made us so vulnerable to these terrorists. Because they have free access, free movement in and out of the country.
Well, but before you, I think Lisa was going to say something.
Exactly.
Go ahead, please.
I actually wanted to ask every one of us, but Lizzie directly.
Oh, you say what is on your mind first.
Yes, what I have on my mind is it's actually about INEC offices that are being burnt across.
They are being attacked.
Are being attacked.
Okay. Yes, it's trending.
Yeah.
There's no day.
All states in the country, like in Nigeria generally. I don't know. You know, it's crazy. It's sad. Could it be that there are hidden agenda to all these attacks, or what?
So, see, if you ask me, these attacks are happening where? In a particular region of the country, southeast. Majorly southeast.
Yes.
So there are people who are bent on frustrating the 2023 general elections, particularly the presidential election, to my mind. I'm a free citizen.
You have a right to your opinion.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So there are people who are bent on frustrating it. The IPOP, their leader who is in detention, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has not come out to tell them to sheath their swords. The Monday sit at home that has become, you know,
Nnamdi Kanu had never given them the go-ahead to violence. He never did.
They are alluding that decision to him. So, and he has never come out to be. He's still their leader.
I remember there was a day he came, one of those times he was in court, he told them to stop.
He told them to stop.
Yeah, even the Monday sit at home.
You need to understand the people. There's a way you can actually train your followers to the level where you can. There are some things you can stop them, and there are some people there are commanders under him as well. Now, is the responsibility of the federal government not to take fire for fire, because if you take fire for fire, you don't live in the southeast, you live in Abuja, and if you are giving order to the military or to the police at the southeast there, how they should handle that issue is going to affect so many things, business and everything in southeast. Now I'm just thinking, if the court has given a verdict, can we try something different? Can we try something different? Something like, okay, there's a verdict from the court, there's a court judgment, release Nnamdi Kanu. They are holding him back, say, okay, he's a threat to 2023 general election. They want for safety, for security reasons, and things are not getting better.
They are not getting
Can you think and say, okay, what can we do different? Differently from what we are used to. You know, this kind of things, I think is something that we should be looking at, because corruption is just the subject matter of all these stories coming out every day and night. And of course, we saw the judgment, the judgment passed on the IGP talking about the Inspector General of Police. Yeah, the court has
sentenced him
to 3 months in prison, and he said he was not aware, of the court. And last night he also came up to seek consultation.
That story is also trending.
Yeah,
yes,
it's trending.
It
yeah, that is the trend. That is the trending.
Yeah,
it's the most trending story. So he's also seeking a legal advice regarding the imprisonment.
But how can someone be sentenced in absentia? The man was sentenced in absentia. He was not in court. He was not represented.
Yeah, he said he never respect the court.
He was
rules,
sentenced for content.
Yeah, the court content, because he's been invited to the court several times without him appearing. So I think that is what the Constitution.
I think our leaders have a penchant of disrespecting court orders.
Yes, they do.
They do have a penchant.
And you know why? Because we set aside the Constitution.
Yes.
The rule of law. Nobody wants to obey the rule of law.
Oh, definitely.
Even when,
the rule of law is neglected in
Nigeria. The law is not made for them. It's made for the ordinary Nigerians.
Yeah, I think that's why, to an extent, I would agree with what one of our speakers said some time ago, that we have two Nigeria. Nigeria for the conquered and
the conqueror.
And the conqueror.
I remember.
Nigeria for the conquered people and for the conquerors.
Yeah.
Well, it's so disturbing. Okay, we also saw Tinubu story.
Okay.
Where a lot of stories coming out.
The head of media of the Tinubu